Hi, I'm B, and welcome to my cozy corner. Yay! I made it and I vlogged it. I will link it somewhere. I don't freaking remember, but it'll be somewhere and you can go and watch that video. Today we are going to be talking about functioning labels. Oh my god. Oh, you know what? I am yelling. I am shouting and there's neighbors. Um Today we are going to be talking about functioning labels. So, if you don't know what functioning labels are, they're used to sort of categorize autistic people by the way that they function, appear to function, on the outside, um, how much support they need, and like what accommodations they might need. So, the functioning labels are high functioning, moderate functioning, and then low functioning. Um, as I'm not like I don't like saying that. I To each their own. Obviously, everybody can identify however they want. I don't know how people who have higher support needs feel about being referred to as low functioning. To me, that would feel insulting, so I'm not going to refer to anybody as that, which is part of my issue with functioning labels in the first place. Like in a setting where you are specifically needing like these accommodations and like these are the issues that you have, I can see why functioning labels could be useful. But I also feel like we just have other language that I feel like we just have other language that's a little bit, I don't know, it explains a little bit more. Like instead of using functioning labels, I prefer like high masking, low masking, or high support needs, medium support needs, low support needs. Like I honestly I prefer support needs to anything because I think it makes the most sense. But even then, with support needs, they fluctuate. Like I can have high support needs one day and then lower support needs like in a couple of weeks. As I'm getting more and more burned out, I am determining that I do have more support needs than I used to. And I am functioning differently than I used to. So it's like these things aren't concrete, but I think that the issue comes in where people who don't really know the term start using it, and that's where the issue comes in for me. Also, aside from the fact that I just don't feel comfortable calling people low support or low functioning, that just feels rude. um because it's like they're not like, I don't know if they're necessarily low functioning, like I don't, I can't speak for those people obviously because I don't know what their experience is like. And the one thing that I want to like stress is that I know that I do have a privilege as an autistic person, to be able to communicate and take care of myself relatively well. Like I do have privilege, in the way that I can care for myself and stuff. Um so like I just want to acknowledge that, and I don't want it to seem like I'm speaking over anybody else because like that's not what I'm trying to do, but this is just my perspective on support needs, and or this is my perspective on functioning labels, and I don't like them. There are also levels in autism for a reason, like level 1, level 2, and level 3. And that's basically what the functioning labels are alluding to, I feel like, is like if you're high functioning, you're level 1 autistic. If you're low functioning, you're a level 3 autistic. And if you're moderate functioning, you're level 2. But the issue is that when people hear functioning labels, like people who don't know, people who aren't doing their research and stuff, because obviously they don't they don't care beyond the surface, it's not affecting them. Um, these people who just know about it like on the surface, they don't understand the levels of autism. And I feel like also when people hear autism spectrum and they hear high functioning and low functioning, that causes them to think of it like a line, like there is less autistic and then the most autistic, and then somewhere in between is where people fall on the spectrum. But it's not like a line spectrum, it's like an all around kind of a spectrum that you're either on or you're not. Like it is just a difference in our brains and the way that our brains function fundamentally, like just from the start, than an holistic person's brain. We just have a different brain. Like we have a different brain makeup. It's working differently no matter what. So where was I going with that? It's not like, you know, oh, this person's more autistic than this person. Like, no, there's like, we are both just autistic. Like, there is no more amount of autism in their brain than there is in my brain. That person's not more autistic than me. It's not like people who have higher support needs and people who are lower masking, those people they aren't more autistic. They are just more affected by their autism. This is just how their autism affects them. And it's just different than the way that it affects me, but they're not more autistic. They have higher support needs, yes. They might be lower masking than I am. You know, they have different skills than I have. But like that doesn't mean that they have more autism in their brain. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I feel like when people hear the functioning labels, that's what they think. They think high functioning, oh, you don't really have that much autism. You just have a little bit. So like you're a little weird and quirky, but like you're fine. And I think that's like the biggest issue that I have with functioning labels as a whole is it's causing people to not listen to us. I feel like it's causing people to just sort of brush high functioning high functioning autistic people off as like, oh, like you did good in school, like you can socialize good enough, you can take care of yourself well enough, like you're fine, you know, it's not that bad. And I feel like when you put high functioning before autism, people aren't listening for the autism part. They hear high functioning and they're just like, oh, normal person. Little weird, so, a little strange, but like normal person. No autism. Barely any little, just a little drizzle of autism. Ignorable. It's frustrating because like I said, I feel like it's led to people not really like hearing us when we talk about things, and that is probably what makes it feel so lonely. Like that's the one thing that I've been realizing as I've been understanding myself better and trying to get people to understand me better is you just don't understand me. Like I just don't feel understood like at all. And it's not even like I can't even like be upset with people because it just comes down to I feel like if unless you have actually experienced it, you don't know what it's like. Because I can tell you what autistic burnout feels like, but like I just know that people just think that I'm depressed. I just know that they don't think that that's like a real thing, or they're just like, oh, you're just depressed or whatever. Like they don't understand. But like if you felt the way that I feel in my body like 24/7, you would understand. And like yeah, I'm high functioning, but like at what cost? At the cost of my functioning. I'm high functioning at the cost of my functioning because it's declining. It's getting harder and harder to function, you know? And it's just like a slap in the face of like invalidation. I feel like to be referred to as high functioning is like, if I want to call myself that, then that's fine. It's the same way that like I won't call other autistic people disabled. You know, I wouldn't call anybody else disabled regardless. Like that's a label that you choose for yourself, and it's not for me to tell you that you have a disability or whatever. Like even if you have a physical disability, that's obvious. Like it's not for me to say that you call yourself disabled. It's not a place for me to say that for you. Like whether that's what I think or not, it's my place to listen to you and how you want to identify and how you feel, and that's that, you know. And I feel like with autism people don't take that seriously, or maybe that's just like me and my autistic sense of justice being like, oh my god, like why doesn't everybody act like me? But it's just it's because it's coming from the perspective of somebody who is experiencing that, and it's just like I don't know if maybe I just don't feel understood because I am autistic, or I'm not understood because I am autistic. You know what I mean? Is like, do I feel that way because that's just how I feel because I am autistic, because I feel weird about everything around me? Or do I just feel that way because people just really don't understand autism, like on a fundamental level? Like at the base level, we don't know what the fuck autism is. And so nobody freaking understands it. So trying to explain it to people feels like grasping at straws And like I have a hard time articulating myself in the first place, so it's really just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever you said, close enough, I guess, because like I can't make you feel what I feel because I can't articulate to you what I feel. If I tell you I feel flat and round and gray, like you don't know what that means, but that's how I feel like all the time. Like I don't have an emotion to tie to it. I just feel like I'm floating through the ether, waiting for the next big emotion to take me away. And it's probably going to be a bad emotion if we're being honest, because I am in autistic burnout. But we don't understand that. It's just depression. You're just depressed. Let's look at the notes because. So we're going to read this because I wrote this and I think that it. I feel like this is I think people think high functioning autism is just quirky and weird and awkward. I still beat myself in the head and rock back and forth while sobbing uncontrollably to breathe or calm myself down. Oh, struggling to breathe or calm myself down. I still shut down when I've had too much and I'm unable to continue on with whatever I was doing. I experience distress daily because I am autistic. I am not closer to normal, and that's what I think people correlate it with. That's how it feels, at least. It's like, okay, so you have autism, but it's not that bad. It could be worse. Like, yes, I am aware that it could be worse, but it could also be better. I am still not experiencing life the way an autistic person would. And now I have to fight to be freaking heard and understood because you think it's not bad enough because I'm so well at managing. When in reality, I'm just a clenched fist and I'm scared for the day when I don't have the strength to clench anymore and I just let go. I'm hanging on for dear life and things just get harder. And because you think I'm so high function, you don't believe me or think I'm being dramatic. I could handle it before, so I should handle it now. But because I handled it before, I can't handle it now. I handled it so much that I can't handle much of anything anymore. I seriously feel like if I am left alone with my thoughts, they are going to get me. If I go beyond the surface of my thoughts, I start to spiral. I regularly feel like I'm on the verge of a meltdown. I have one good day and six dysregulated bad days, and that's during a good month. I feel flat all the time. I'm handling so much that it actually seems to be handling me. Quite well, in fact. I'm so high functioning that I don't feed myself. I've unintentionally lost weight over the last year. I'm already small. I do not need or want to lose weight. I am not trying to lose weight, but I lost it. I don't have an appetite or the spoons to take care of myself. I'm struggling with things I've never struggled with before. On the outside, I might look like I've got it all together, but I don't. I am struggling to keep up. You know when Katy Perry said, "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?" Yes, in fact, I do feel like a plastic bag flying around in traffic. And it feels like just when I start to settle, have a good day, more cars come zipping by, and I am once again a plastic bag zipping through the wind. I don't believe it's that bad. Maybe I'm not actually even autistic. Maybe I'm just lazy and undisciplined and bratty and just coping terribly. Maybe it's this hard for everyone and it's just me. But I wish I could just be normal. I wish my emotions were consistent and that I could control them. I wish I could predict them and I wish I could wake up with the same energy and spoons daily. I wish I could just be better. In God, no one understands me except the people who are experiencing the same thing. It feels like no one hears me. They listen and ask questions, but I don't think anyone grasps to the fullest extent how difficult existing is for me on a regular basis. Existing is hard more often than it is not. And I seem okay because I learned to be okay, and I don't know how to not be okay. I just deal with it on my own because I don't know what else to do. But don't mistake high functioning to mean totally fine on their own. Not that bad. Because it doesn't feel not that bad. It feels hard. It feels hard every day. I have good days and I have bad days. And I don't really let people see the bad days because I never learned to show people the bad days. So I just conceal, don't feel like Elsa. And I just am in turmoil. I am just in turmoil on the inside. Um, and that's I think that that is the biggest takeaway that I want for people who don't understand why functioning labels can be harmful. And obviously again I can't speak for the other side, but as far as somebody who would be considered high functioning, I just need people to understand that what you see is not necessarily what you get, because with high functioning comes high masking. I've been masking my whole life. I learned how to mask as a child. I probably learned how to mask as an infant. Most of us learned to mask at a really young age. We learned to fit in, and we did it. And now that's all I've got. So, like, you see us on the outside and you think that we're all just fine all the time because, like, that's maybe what you see all of the time. And so you think it's not that bad. Like, oh, you're autistic, but, like, it's not that bad. Well, you know what? If you would like, if you would like me to have a meltdown around you, like, just let me know, and I'll let my body know, and I'll just let it out. So you can see that, because that's what it feels like at this point. It's like I feel like I'm gonna have to freak out in front of people now for them to actually understand me and be like, damn, like she's crazy. But then if that happened, then it would go the other way, and I would start being infantilized. Like, oh my god, like, are you okay? Like, are you gonna have another meltdown? Like, you know what? I just will keep it to myself. Nobody needs to know. High functioning does not mean less autistic. And just because you see the high functioning people in your life, I want you to remember that they are masking. They are probably masking a lot. And that there's a lot of things that you don't see because you see the version of me that I allow you to see. Let's just sit with that. You see the version of me that I feel safe enough to show you. And it's not necessarily that I don't feel safe around people, but it's just that those emotions are so big and so wrapped with shame and guilt and embarrassment that I couldn't possibly show them to literally anybody. I just don't feel safe enough to do that around anybody. So, like, the autistic people in your life might also just not feel safe enough to unmask around you. And it's not necessarily anything that you've done. It's just a process that we have to go through because we've lived our lives believing one thing usually, and now we have to believe something else. And it's embarrassing um, to feel yourself getting worse. So, yeah, I wouldn't show most people that. Just like listen, maybe maybe listen, ask questions. Don't say you understand when you don't understand, and like actually listen. Because if we're telling you something like I don't open up a lot, you know. So if I open up, like just listen, because like I won't do it again. One bad experience, and I'm never doing it again. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. I'm not like the super educational person because I don't have my memory's not great. I do not retain information like at all. So, but I hope you learned something, and I trust that there will be little infographics on the screen to explain the things that I missed. Um, there's Milo. Yeah, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.